Hello, this is Dave. I'm going to do a little bit of a testimony and maybe an appeal as well. So what's actually happened is that over the last couple of months, I'd found myself getting kind of sicker and sicker. But at first it wasn't very obvious. I was waking up feeling quite breathless. But because I use the amber nectar, I would take it and I'd recover very quickly. So it wasn't noticeable at first, but I was literally more often than not now waking up breathless, and it was getting sort of worse. I couldn't figure it out until one night. It was getting a bit cold, so I grabbed a second duvet out of the bottom of my wardrobe, and then realised it was covered in black mould. I woke up in the middle of the night, totally unable to breathe, and that's when I discovered that this duvet had black mould on it. So I actually put a post out on Facebook for anybody who knew how to get rid of black mould. So I tried all these things that was like cleaning up. I threw away that duvet, I threw away anything else that seemed to be affected, and I ended up cleaning my place up totally with tried different methods, but I kept getting sick, and then one night it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and my body suddenly went into panic mode. That is, I literally couldn't breathe. I was breathing really quickly and taking really shallow breaths, but I wasn't getting enough air into my lungs. And I tried various things. I tried breathing into a paper bag, but that seemed to make it worse. And my heart started racing. My breath started increasing in speed, and I lost all energy, and I thought I was going to die. It brought it home that my best friend for 40 years died in February, probably of the vax, but he died suddenly of a heart attack, and it brought it home to me that if my mate could just suddenly disappear like that, then why not me? So I literally thought that was the end of me. So the only thing I could do, because I couldn't even make a phone call, I couldn't speak, but I ended up praying. So I prayed to the Most High. I said, if it's my time, then fair enough, but if it's not my time, I need a little bit of help here. And absolutely immediately, it's incredible, immediately I had the overwhelming urge to go to wee, but I had no energy. I couldn't make it to the toilet, and it's one thing dying, but to die and be discovered with wee stains around you, that's another thing altogether, and I couldn't do that. So I reached up and grabbed a glass and weed in the glass, and without thinking about it, I drank it. And immediately my body started to calm down. This amazing calm settled over me, and my breathing sort of slowed down, my heart slowed down, and my lungs started to clear up. So I can continue drinking virtually all the night. I couldn't go to bed. I continued drinking all night until the morning, and then I went to A&E. I didn't go to A&E for any treatment as such. I did get them to give me a nebulizer, but I went for the nebulizer mask, and I'll show you why in a little while. But when I got to the hospital, the doctor basically said, first thing he said was, "Have you had your COVID vaccine?" I said, "No." And he said, "You've probably got COVID." I said, "No, I haven't. It's black mould. I know it's black mould. I wasn't feeling like this before, the duvet incident, and over the last few months and that. I know it's not COVID, it's this black mould. He said, well, breathlessness is one of the symptoms of COVID. I said, I know that, but it's not COVID, it's black mould. Right now I'm feeling better because I'm not in that environment. Does that happen with COVID? No, it doesn't. He said, well, you could be asymptomatic. I said, really? I mean, is that, how do you know that I'm not asymptomatic cancer then, or asymptomatic diabetes? Why am I specifically asymptomatic COVID? He said, and then I followed on with, you did know about the study in Wuhan where 10 million people basically proved that there was no such thing as asymptomatic spread. And he said, well, that's irrelevant. We're not here. I'm not here to argue with you. So go and sit in the waiting room and until we call you again. So, they really are really pushing this COVID thing, in every instance. And if you try and bring any information that doesn't go along with that idea, then they don't want to know. So I was basically put on a nebulizer, which didn't help an awful, as much as I thought it might do, because it wasn't actually asthma or something. Obviously, it's this black mould. But what I did do, I asked them, because their nebulizer mask is like it's a one-use thing. Everyone who uses it, they throw it away afterwards. I said, can I keep it? And they said, oh yeah, no problem. So I walked away with their nebulizer mask. So what I've been doing ever since is, and you can see it in there, I've been putting urine in it and nebulizing urine. Now, I've helped a couple of people with this technique actually. A friend of mine, he has COPD, and he asked me what he could do, and so I told him, he uses a vape, so I told him just put some urine in that vape and vape urine. And a couple of weeks later I saw him, and apparently he's a different man. We were talking, and he wanted to walk while we talked, because he said he hasn't walked around for such a long time. He loves walking, so he wants to now walk. So he was his COPD had improved drastically, and I've helped a couple of people with asthma and other breathing problems, simply with like this idea of vaporizing urine and breathing it in. Unlike vaporizing anything else, the body recognizes urine, so it'll absorb into the lungs rather than become a liquid that sits in the lungs. It will be absorbed, and because it's got stem cells, it will start to repair the lungs. So I've been using this, and it's literally cleared up my lungs a tree. Yeah, so it took a little while. I mean, it was black mould after all, so it was going to last a long time. But it took me about 3 or 4 days, maybe even a week, before I could say that my lungs were completely clear. And I know because, especially when I used to have asthma, there'd always be a kind of rattle and wheeze at the bottom of my lungs, and it took about a week before, and a week of nebulizing for half an hour, maybe once or twice a day. It took about a week before that rattle, that wheeze and rattle right at the bottom of my breath would go away. So now my van is completely uninhabitable. Every time I go back in there, right now I've tried to clean it all up as best as I can, and I've got what is it? It's an ozonator, an industrial ozonator in there, pumping out ozone, which apparently will get rid of it. I've got a dehumidifier in there to get rid of any moisture, but yet it still affects me when I go in there. So I can't go in there. I was hoping to be able to wait until spring and completely gut it and try and get rid of this black mould, but it looks like it might be in the ceiling and in the walls or something, and I just can't get to it. So I'm going to need to get a replacement van. Now I'm not just asking people for help with this, but I'm embarking on a truth tour. So you know, I'm going to be giving talks around the country, and you know, any donations from that will go towards the van, and I'm hoping to be able to by spring, you know, be able to have enough to get some kind of replacement for my trusty van, which has been my home for 7 or 8 years now. Should be sad to see it go, because it has been a nice place to be, but yeah. So I'm gonna hopefully, you know, be able to do this by myself. But if if anyone would like to help me, then that'd be great too. So, thanks very much.